My interest in sustainable fashion actually came from understanding how much waste fashion was creating, not just in a design room aspect where it took forever to get your samples back and forth and we're wasting paper, but also from the aspect of returns. So, having been an early entrepreneur, I owned an online store before, and sorry about that. I completely understand how returns can disrupt your business and cost a lot of money. So I tried to better understand the return issue, and it led me to the sustainability problem as a whole. So my area of expertise grew out of fit technology integration, and my view on sustainability is in matching people to product. So I believe that true sustainability is creating a supply and demand chain that is balanced and helps to match existing products and new products coming out to actual people instead of making things for arbitrary purposes or for the sake of design alone. I think that sustainability is when we're making things that people are demanding and things that people need. So, one of the things that people should know is the impact of non sustainable practices. So, right now, there's about $64 billion of returns annually, and that's with shoes and clothing. But in addition to returns, there's a bigger issue. There's about $50 billion of dead inventory, and that's inventory that never makes it off the sales floor. So, that inventory obviously will either go to reduction, so we'll try to reduce the price and create all these sales, which isn't a sustainable business model either, or it will go to the landfill. And right now, apparel accounts for about 15 million tons of textile waste in the US alone. So if we add up this number around the world, we can see the impact of not being sustainable, which is truly scary. I think that understanding those numbers should help all brands, small and large, try to adjust their supply and demand chain so that they're a bit more sustainable. I also believe that when you can successfully match people to product, you can build a new type of brand loyalty. So, what's going on that I think people have to pay attention to is if I come to your store looking for a pair of jeans and you sell me on a denim and you say it's my size and you say it's going to fit me, I have confidence in you enough to buy it. Once the product gets to me and is not correct, and I have to either return that product or I have to keep it and be dissatisfied, the likelihood of me returning to your store to actually purchase more completely diminishes. Now, you not only lose me, but you lose access to my entire network. People who have my same fit issues, my same size issues, people who rely on me for information about where to shop. You lose a plethora of people by not creating a balanced supply and demand. But let's say the person never even gets to the checkout. If a person goes on your website and they're looking at your products and maybe they see things but they don't know what's really for them, whether or not those products would have been perfect for them, their wardrobe, their price point, their hesitation to buy, and them lacking the confidence in your products means that that's one more piece of clothing that does not get sold, and it creates the dead inventory problem that we talked about earlier. These are tiny things associated with fit or confidence or personalization that also create a sustainability issue because now you're producing things and you have these experiences, but you're not able to sell them. You can't get rid of your product. You're sitting on inventory and you're bleeding money. So I think sometimes when we talk about sustainability, a lot of people just assume it's about sustainable fabrics or that it's about, better practices overseas. Sustainability affects you right now in your store. It affects your user experience. It affects your sales. It affects your dead inventory. So you absolutely have to think about sustainability and matching people to product so that you can obviously make more money, create more sales opportunities, but also keep your customer longer, which is super important right now. I was talking to various brands and I tried to make a comparison that right now the customer is like a very attractive person who's rich and who has everything in their dating. They're not obligated to you at all. They're experiencing you. And if you are not the right one, they're going to quickly move on. We're not in the time where people are locked by location, where the malls are the only ways to discover products. You have Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, you have Google. So when it comes to discovery, people are no longer stuck to well, I have to buy with this brand because they're a household name, or I have to purchase here because they're the only ones in my neighborhood. Because there's so many options, you really have one time to wow them and bring them in so that they buy and they continue to purchase, or it's definitely going to affect your bottom line and your experience overall. I absolutely think that apparel companies who want to take that first step towards sustainability should take the tech approach. So, having spent time as a product manager for technology, they do something I find to be very unique, but I don't see it done in fashion in the same amount of detail. Develop your personas and archetype customers. I think that oftentimes when we talk to brands and we ask them, who's your targeted customer, some of the information that comes out is quite arbitrary. So, it's absolutely good to know, that this girl, she likes to shop or she gets up on Saturdays and she makes smoothies. Those things are only a small part of the persona that you actually need to know. You may need to understand their body types, their shopping channel preferences, what builds confidence in your customer. What is the reason why they're shopping? Is it a functional issue? Is it a style related issue? Or are they just high fashion people who want whatever out there? Asking those type of questions initially will help you to build valuable personas that you can then build your experience around, your copy and content around, and all of those things so that when that person comes on your site, they understand exactly which products are for them in lieu of having someone there matching it to them or having a super sales associate. I think doing that both online and in store can be super helpful because some of the problems that I've seen when companies have big return issues is that they haven't quite nailed down who their customer is. So whether or not they're not communicating with them clearly or they're not creating clothing for that customer, it's always a matter of not really having a relationship with those customers and not having defined archetypes. So I think again we do this a lot in tech when we're building tech products. We define our archetypes and personas and then we develop experiences or solutions for them and then we test it. So I think that brands have to constantly be collecting this information so that you can inherently test this concept. And I think by doing so, you can help to create more sustainable practices and products for your customer. I think that one of the places you could start, and obviously everyone has a different idea about how to start. Some people would say, choosing your fabric better and being more aware of where you are sourcing products from could help. Absolutely. I think you need to know, in my opinion, what's being returned, what's being wasted. Do you have the best cutters and spreaders so that you are creating more sustainability in your development practices? Are you using 3D in your design room? Are you seeing a lot of paper stack up in your design room or a lot of fabric being wasted? I think being aware of those small things can also help. And if so, take note of it and try to figure out, well, what exists right now that we can just eliminate this problem on a small scale. When I was in design rooms and I saw how long it took to kind of get products back and forth from China and the paper patterns and all that, that is where I started to begin to think, is there any way that we can create some more efficiency in this process? And I think taking on that mindset on a small scale can help you to make bigger changes. Even if you're looking at returns and saying, hey, you guys, we're wasting a lot of fabric, money, and time by not addressing this issue. We see this product come back a lot. Let's try to fix it. Can we change our copy and content? Or, is there anything we can do with the customer to run small surveys or collect information, depending on where you sit in your business? I think just being aware of the sustainability issue, seeing where there's waste again, seeing where processes are not efficient can help you begin to think more sustainable on a small scale and make a larger impact. Absolutely. To reach out to me, make sure that you email me at jcouch@luxorandfinch.com. That's luxorandfinch.com. You can also visit Luxor and Finch. And yeah, I'm also on Instagram and Twitter. So however you feel best contacting me, I'd love to have a conversation.